Afternoon, folks. Well, good evening. It will be evening when you're listening to this. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. It has been a hectic one. The thing is, like with my current situation, things kind of go really hectic, and then they go really quiet. And that just tends to be how it's going right now. But anyway, if you like what I do, here are some more Hobby Nightmares. And if you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below. The Patreon button is also down below. It is a massive help. If you can, do Patreon. It is a massive help to me. It is a massive help to my situation. As my teaching hours go down, because I have to spend more time at home looking after people of my family, you know, it really does aid me immensely. Even if it's just like, I mean, I was literally in the pub on Saturday with a friend. Just having a chinwag, you know. And I literally just bought a beer and went, you know what, like, somebody on Patreon's bought that beer, you know? Like, without that, I would not be able to afford to do this right now, because all of my money's going into making sure the people around me are okay. So that's what it is. It's there. If you want it, if you like what I do, it's there. If you like the channel, it's there. And if you can't afford it, please don't give me any money. Please keep it for yourself. Think times are hard. Times are really hard right now, and you know. And if there's somebody else in your life who needs it, or if there's another YouTuber who you think needs it more, then give it to them. You know, I'm not the guy who's. I'm all right, you know. I'm okay. I can go without a beer every now and again. I can go without, you know, a video game for the channel every now and again. It's okay. Like you don't need to sort me out. But it's there if you want to use it. Moving on, Hobby Nightmares time. Oh, by the way, if you're going to get any models, continue to use the composite games thing down below. It's keeping them busy, and that's hilarious to me. So, you know, I'm imagining all of these people running around a warehouse somewhere in the Midlands, just going, ah, all the time because of all of these, you know, online orders that they're getting, so that amuses me. So please keep on doing that, because we're keeping people in a job as well. Hooray! You know, everyone, more good hobby stores should be given more airwave time. So, use the Northern Exile code down below to get yourself 5% off at checkout. So, moving on to some Hobby Nightmares. Justin says, as the title says, I was the cause of a hobby nightmare, and I feel someone needs to hear the story so I can atone for my sins. Oh my god. Here we go. My Warhammer story started in mid-9th edition. My brother got a 3D printer for D&D minis, and we enjoyed and painted, and I had heard of 40k and was really interested. Luckily, my brother and I are in positions in life with our jobs and personal life to be able to afford jumping right into 40k, and now we both have multiple 2,000 point armies. Okay, lucky boy. As well as 40k, we also play Kill Team, where the trouble begins. We both have several teams, and we both play competitively in both Kill Team and 40k. Not in the sense of tournaments, but we play to win, and we will always try to win no matter the mission. Not so far as that we don't allow take-backs or hide that we have certain abilities until they are triggered, but we both plan on winning anything we play. Well, that sounds fair enough, you know. My brother has gotten his new Kill Team, and it's the Wormblade Cult. If you're familiar with Kill Team, it is a very gamey it has very gamey LOS rules, and Wormblade have a built-in ability to come out of concealment, shoot, and then go back into concealment. So you can't shoot them back. So yeah, it's very line of sight based, very line of sight based. Obviously, this is a very frustrating thing to be on the receiving end of. The game in question had gone into turn 3, with his concealment tricks killing my Imperial breaches with little reprise from me. Turn 4 had come, and I was pretty pissed at the time. I finally had the chance to actually win the game. I just needed to kill one model he had on the central objective with my last breacher, who was actually decent in melee. Obviously, I roll horribly, and he rolls very well. Last model is dead. I snap and pick up the breacher and just crush it in my hands. Obviously, my brother got pissed and said, you know, you really need to work on your Warhammer etiquette because you aren't fun to play with sometimes. I took that to heart because my brother and I got into the hobby together and talk about it all the time. I apologised shortly after, grabbed us some beer, and we just played pool instead for the rest of the night. Ever since, I try my best to be polite and take the wins with the losses. I'm still occasionally bemoaned how shooting me in the face with a -4 AP guns, whilst I'm actively bludgeoning them in the face with power axes, but try to always be more chipper while playing. Needless to say, I also just play less kill team if I can help it. The game is frustrating to me, and 40k is obviously superior. Okay, that's cool. I think Combat Patrol is going to be more your bag when it comes out, because it's like 40k but smaller. Whereas Kill Team really isn't. Kill Team is its own game entirely. That's the problem with Kill Team. A lot of people go into it thinking it's going to be, you know, 40k light. It really isn't. It's just as complex. And in some ways, it's harder to get into, because there are certain rules that are really, really, really annoying. I can see you getting frustrated by rules like that, especially when it seems like somebody's brought a rule that just ensures that you can't really play the game against them. That's annoying. Not pick up your own models and crush them annoying, but it's annoying, so I see where you're coming from, you know? Anyway. Swell Orion is up next, and he says, "Hey North, I recently came across a real rule bender here in the UK when playing my final games of 9th edition. This edition, I have to say, has to be one of the worst ever done for bloat." Yeah, man, I'm with you on that one. I'm completely with you on that one. "It's that bad that my opponent, Mike, can't even be fitted into a hobby nightmare, as I would be here all day. That's how bad his behaviour was. He played Admech, which is a really difficult army to pin down, with the sheer amount of gotchas that they have. Their rules are so dense that even their own players struggle to remember them." Yeah, the only guy who I've seen, I've played several Admech armies, against several Admech armies, the only guy who's managed to even come close to actually having their rules down is my friend Matt, who is a physicist who has worked at the Large Hadron Collider. That shows you the brain power that you need to actually wield this codex, and even then he was missing things. And even then at the end of the game he was like, "Oh my god, I could have done this and I could have done that." And I was like, "Wow, they're even more powerful." And he goes, "Yeah, I could have done all that stuff, I just forgot." Right? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Mike, though, tends to misremember these rules to his own advantage, and every time I call him out, he simply shrugs and says his codex is really complex, so what are you gonna do? Jesus. So he's using it as like a smoke screen. Right, I get it. Some of his litanies and other rules that are popping off 2 or 3 times a turn just make my stomach churn. Like getting much better AP on his shots whenever he says, and things like that. I'm just done with this edition completely until this is sorted out. Yeah, dude, like, that is one thing with this edition that I think you come into it later on. Let me have a look. Yeah, you do. So I'll hold off on that point till the end. Mike is also not a good winner, like, at all. He will try and sit you down and have Jerry Springer-like heart-to-hearts about what you did wrong in your battle with him and how you can get better for next time. At the end of this latest game, when he came to me and tried to give me that fake pep talk, I just stepped back, told him I thought he was cheating, and from now on, he either shows me the rule in his codex when he pulls it out of his ass, or he can jog on. That didn't go well. He basically accused me of being salty and walked off, rather loudly, which now means the club thinks I'm just a bad loser as I kept my protest quiet and gentlemanly and between us. Turns out, though, a lot of the club have had previous with him, and so I kind of got away with that one. My point is, 9th edition sucks, the end. That is an email written in sheer bloody frustration. That is literally just you losing your shit, which is fine, you know. It is annoying. It is annoying. The point that I was going to try and make is that 9th edition kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, bear with me, okay? Both of them are solely designed to raid your wallet for microtransactions and more money, right? And both of them are solely designed, it seems, to cater for the worst parts of their own fan bases. Grand Theft Auto Online is designed for griefing. It is designed for griefing, and it's designed to tell you if you want to not be griefed, then give us some real-life money. Buy a shark card and buy yourself one of those jet fighters or armoured vehicles or whatever the hell they are doing now. That's completely beyond the pale and stupid, right? That's what it's there for. It's there to get you to spend money to stop yourself getting griefed. That's all it is. That is all it is. It plays into the worst, the lowest common denominator of people who play the GTA 5 online portion, right? By the way, GTA 5 Online kind of killed off Red Dead Redemption Online, which I'm really salty about. But moving on. Ninth leans into that behaviour as well, but not griefing. It leans into gotcha behaviour. It leans into these people who play a game like they're literally on a lie detector test, or they're literally like in a political debate with you, and they're trying to like lead you into a place where they can go, look at this obscure rule that I have. Yeah, I didn't tell you that I had it, sorry, but anyway, 9 turns ago you did this, and that means that you lose the game because of this. You know what I mean? Like I know that's a huge exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying, right? The entire 9th edition caters to that kind of player, the gotcha player. Right? The player who's read his codex cover to cover and then keeps that knowledge from you. And so he's not beating you out of skill. He's beating you through a gotcha moments. That's how he's beating you. He's not beating you through tactical skill, he's beating you through gotcha moments. That's what he's doing. Anyway. I agree with you, but moving on. Grailspeak says... Oh, we are racing through these today. He says, Hoi North, hope all is going well with you, and things are getting back to normal. Kind of, dude, yeah. I mean, it's still... Like, the constant nurses, the constant people coming in, the constant things going on in the house makes it really hard to record sometimes, which is really doing my head in. I also have to do lessons, lesson plans, conferences, one-to-one tutoring sessions, all online in my office with my green screen, and it's really hard to do when I've got to get up every 5 minutes to go and get the fucking door, or to go and make sure he hasn't fallen over, or things haven't gone awry in some horrible calamity that I need to, I need to sort out. But anyway, so he says, I just wanted some advice, to be honest, as it's starting to get to do my head in a little. All right, I bet it's about a woman. All right, next page. I met a woman. Oh, God. I met a woman at a 40k tournament. I know. Shock horror. She's really cool, though, and for the purpose of this nightmare, let's call her Jane. We met a few months ago now in our area's last hurrah for 9th edition, where we rented space in a strip mall before filling it with tables and terrain. It was awesome. Then, later, we all went for drinks in the city. The average night, really. I'd seen Jane in the day earlier, playing with her Necrons against others. We never played together, but I noticed she'd look up at me, smile, tuck her hair behind her ear, and go back to playing. Oh, dude. That's the kryptonite right there. That's the kryptonite. She knows what she's doing. Knows exactly what she's doing. It's hilarious to me how so many friends who are women that I know, like, say that they don't flirt, and they're not really flirty, and then the minute I see them around a guy that they like, all of the body language signs are there. They just can't hide it. It's so fucking obvious, and it's like, yeah, you're not as smooth as you think, right? Any man who knows what these signs are knows, right? And I don't mean like the guys who like go into coffee shops and say, hey, the barrister was nice to me, so she obviously likes me. No, she's paid to like you. I mean like the obvious body language. Her shoulders are facing you. She's messing with her hair all the time. She's laughing at inane things that you say. That kind of... sometimes it gets to the point where she's laughing at things that make you feel awkward because you're like, ha ha, yeah, I meant to be funny there. Yes, So yeah, it's a bit odd. But anyway, it happens. You're not as smooth as you think, ladies. Like, we notice. Or at least the ones of us who know those signs notice. Put it that way. Anyway. Grailspeak obviously noticed. Safe to say, she caught my eye. There we go. I wonder what kind of calamity is going to happen here. Let's see. Are we going to be scarred for life? When we all went out, later on, I knew I wanted to talk to her. And so, taking some advice from you, I ignored her for a bit and started talking to the dudes who were surrounding her like some sort of phalanx of cockblockers. Good lad. And wouldn't you know it, about 15 minutes later, I'm standing next to Jane in the group, and we are talking the night away. That's cool. That's cool. That's excellent. It does work as well. It definitely does work. We swapped numbers, and later I walk her back to Uber, and we kissed. Lovely. So, now we are a few dates down, and I've been generally having fun. We even brought one of the 4x4 tables from the group home to my place, and regularly have a few games on here once a week. It's all going well. Are we going to have a happy ending? Well, we are watching Hobby Nightmares, I suppose, so no, but we'll see, we'll see. One of the nurses has come in, by the way, so I'm trying to keep quiet. A few days ago, we are sitting in bed, and the subject gets on to past partners and numbers. Oh, no. The usual couple talk. Yeah, every couple does it. Don't. Unless you have some sort of weird thing where you're like, how many people has she been with? Like she's freaking you out, then ask her. But like, apart from that, just don't ask her. I'm very honest, and I say I've had 11 women by the age of 27. That may be high, but hey, it is what it is. Dude, I don't mean to bust your ego. 11 isn't high. Alright? 11 is good boy behaviour. Good boy behaviour. By the age of 27, let's say you lose your virginity at 16. Yeah, 11 in 11 years is good boy behaviour. It's not. You're doing well. You're doing well. You're not celibate by any means. You're doing remarkable. You're doing very well. But like, yeah. No, you're all right. You're a good lad. You're a good lad. Jane says she's been with 3 people, including me, and she's 25. That's totally fine. We say our good nights and head to sleep. A few days later, though, one of my buddies and I are talking shop, as you do, and we also get on the subject of numbers on the bedpost sort of thing. We get over my numbers, and I again say mine. He's not shocked. He asks how I am about women sleeping around, and I'll be honest, I know it's sexist, but I don't really care for it. At least not in the person I'm with. Okay, alright, okay. Here's the thing. I will carry on in a second. I'm just going to highlight there so I know where I was. In 2023, right? I'm not the kind of guy who says, you know, it's 2023, oh my god. But like, in 2023, by and large, people are more promiscuous than they were, right? So the days of you finding a woman who is, you know, 1 or 2 people in are pretty much done, right? Maybe you do find that unicorn, but those days are done, right? They're gone, by and large. So I sort of prescribe to that notion of, you know, that the men do the chasing and things like that, and so, you know, if a woman goes with everybody, you know, put it this way, right? I always say this: if you're a woman and you're listening to this, have you ever not been able to get laid? Like whenever you want. Have you ever not been able to go into a bar and pick anyone and go, "You'll do. You're coming home with me." No, right? Exactly, right? You don't have to work on that. That's not something you need to work on, unless you're a loser. Like and that's going to be, that sounds really harsh, but it's true, right? Most women out there do not need to work on getting laid, because there'll be some guy out there who will do it at the drop of a hat. All right. So, all the men out there, when was the last time you had to work on getting laid? And if you're single, you go, yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before. Yeah, every single time you go out and you want to actually get with somebody, you've got to work your ass off. You've got to work your ass off, and it probably costs you a bit of money as well, right? That's the point. That's the point. That's why there's a circular logic to it. When people say, "Well, what's good for the goose?" I say, "No, actually, no, it isn't. What's good for the goose?" Because unlike you, I have to work at this, and my success rate won't be very high, right? Your success rate will be near enough 100%, and you can do it whenever you go out. Whenever you go out. So if you're doing that every single time you go out, that is easy behaviour. You're being easy. You're being easy to get to, right? Yeah? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying when it comes to stuff like that. And it may sound antiquated. It may sound like, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just the behaviour that I see. And most of my female friends who who are really well adjusted don't do shit like that. Like, they don't sleep around. They get into a relationship, and then they meet somebody at a bar, they go out on dates, and then they like that person, they get into a relationship. That's what they do, right? I've never come across a woman who sleeps around who wasn't a fucking nut job. Honestly. I have yet to come across one. They'd be a very fun nut job, right? They may be very fun to be with, but they're still a nut job, okay? And they're not. Then that's not the mother of your kids, right? That ain't the mother of your kids. So, you know, and it's never too late. If you're one of these girls who has done that in the past, everybody's got a past, right? Everybody's got a past. As long as you dedicate yourself to, like, not doing that anymore, and, like, turning your life around and being respecting yourself and getting therapy, dude, all power to you. And you deserve happiness as well. I'm not one of these guys on YouTube who says, no, you don't deserve happiness because of all the mistakes that you made. Listen, I don't care what you did in your past. You might have been really, really abused, or really, really, you know, I don't know. As long as you don't do it now, you're with me, we're good, right? That's how I am. That's just how I am. But don't expect me to look at your bad behaviour and tell you it was good behaviour. It wasn't. Okay? Men shouldn't sleep around with everybody that they see. No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. But that doesn't change the fact that we have to work at getting laid. It doesn't just happen for us. It doesn't just happen. We have to go out there and actually put in the work, put in the time, put in the money, and develop social skills, and make sure we're looking nice and smelling nice before we even get on the batter's mound. And when we're on the batter's mound, then we've got to hit it out the park to get you to want to go on a date with us. That's how it is. That's always been how it is. Right? Women don't have to work getting laid, especially if you're half decent looking. If you're half decent looking, you can go into any bar, any club, any restaurant, whatever, pick out a guy who's single and go, you're with me. And he'll go, yeah, sure, cool, right? Some of those guys won't even be single. They'll be like, yeah, sure. Because they take what they can get. That's what guys do. They take what they can get. Is it cynical? Yes. Is it true? Also yes. Don't listen to anybody filling your head full of nonsense like this. You know, we're all living in this fucking utopia. That's not where we're living. Okay. So yes, if you're a woman, you sleep around with a load of men, that's a warning sign for me. It's a warning sign. But at the same time, I don't own your body, and I believe in fairness. Right. So if you get into a relationship with me or anybody, and you decide, hey, I'm not going to sleep around with that anymore. Cool. I will take you at your word for it. It might bite me in the arse, but I'll take you at your word for it. But I tell you now, lads, I tell you now, I've not come across a woman who slept around with loads of men who is normal. They're all dealing with some kind of trauma. They're all dealing with some kind of deep-seated self-loathing. Or they need that validation. They're just hungry for that validation. And eventually, that behaviour will turn around and bite you straight on the arse. Get that woman to therapy, get her some self-worth, get her some happiness, and when she's truly happy, then she's ready to be with you. But don't try and rescue these people, they need professional help. Right? Alright, moving on. Christ, I didn't think I'd talk for that long on that bit. Moving on. So, my point was, Grail, was that to not be too judgmental. I know it sounded like I was being judgmental, but I'm not. Like, if you literally want to turn your life around, then great. If you're a woman and you've slept around a lot, but now you don't want to do that anymore, cool. I'm all there for you. And if I like you, I'll go out with you, no problem. But, like, yeah, try not to hate people for their past decisions, because, you know, it is what it is. So, he says, my buddy gives me a quizzical look, and I ask him what's up, as we've just been talking about numbers and stuff. And I've just said that, you know, I don't like women who've slept around with a lot of people. Alright? He asks me if I know of Jane's past. Oh no. And I ask him what he means. He says, fuck man, I didn't want to be the guy to tell you this. I thought she would have. She was a prostitute, dude. Well, not a streetwalker or anything, but she was an escort for like years. Since she was like 18. Oh no. I was flawed. Yeah, no shit, man. That's horrible. He told me she'd been out of the game for a year after a few bad experiences. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad. If that's bad experiences as an escort, dude, it can only mean one thing. That's bad. This poor girl. He told me she'd been out of the game for a year after a few bad experiences and now worked in web development, which was true. But that her number was probably way over the 2 she told me. No shit. Maybe she doesn't count her Johns as actual numbers. Yeah, that's true. She might not. She might not count her clients as actual numbers. I was crushed, not because she slept around. What you do before I meet you is no business of mine, even if I have my preferences. Good lad. Yeah, that's exactly how I am too. Exactly how I am too. Yeah. Yeah. What you do before I meet you is your business, not mine. As long as you present yourself as a nice person to me, and you're willing to like not sleep around anymore, let's go on a date. Fine. Cool. Awesome. You know, it's just that by and large, most of those people that I've let in have either ended up hurting me, or I learned to see the signs and cocooned my feelings before that point. Do you know what I mean? Before that point. Anyway, it's more that she lied to me about those numbers. It's really fucked with me. I called her and told her I'd be out of town for work, which happens a lot, and she's welcome to stay at my place. I packed a bag and went to a work conference that was voluntary. Instead, though, I've just walked around Miami with a few friends, having drinks and trying to get my mind in order. At night, I do a bit of painting on my new Black Templars, but in all honesty, I need help with this. What do I do? Do I stay with her, confront her, help me? Grail. Okay. So, alright, here's the thing. This is a toughie, man. This is a toughie. She was wrong to lie to you. But, in all honesty, dude, can you blame her? I'm not coming down on it. I'm not simping here. I'm being honest, right? You seem like a really well-adjusted man. You seem like a really well-adjusted, cool guy. Alright? Now, if I'm a woman and I've got a past like hers, and I've been really traumatized by it, and I've been an escort and all that shit, and then I meet you, and I really like you, I'd be terrified that you'd find out what I did when I was younger. I'd be terrified. And maybe she says, maybe just as you say, she doesn't count her Johns. She doesn't count her clients as people that she slept with. She needs to feel a connection, because women are like that, you know. By and large, you know, if they don't feel that connection with you, it's their feelings can get very, very, very weird about sleeping with you. So maybe it's only with people that she's with that she actually feels that connection to. Men don't do that. If you're with somebody and you have sex with them, they're a notch on the bedpost. That's it. There's no shall we say, translation there. It is what it is. Women are different, like, by and large. You know, again, there are always exceptions to prove the rule, but by and large, I've known friends, I've known ex-girlfriends who've said, oh, my number of actually physical intimacy in that way is like 9, but people that I count as having slept with properly, having that connection with, is like 4. People do that, right? They do that. Now, I understand where she's coming from, so that's one part of the argument. I understand where she's coming from. Number 2, she shouldn't have lied to you, no. But it's a very courageous and brave thing to do if you like somebody, to warts and all tell them about your past. This far into the relationship. It's a very brave thing to do. So I can't really have a go at her for not doing it. Maybe she plans to do it eventually, I don't know. But, you know. Number 3, do you stay with her? Okay, so what I would do if I was in your shoes, dude, right? If I was in your shoes, I would go back to her and open heart say, I'm not going to tell you who, but I found out from somebody else what you used to do for a living. Okay? Alright? By the way, get proof of this. Don't just go back. You never know. This dude might be trying to just screw up your relationship. So go and ask him for proof. I'm assuming you've got proof, right? See if you got proof. Like her profile's on a website or something. Fair enough, right? So if that is the case, go back to her and say to her, look, I know what you used to do. One of my friends is on those websites and he uses escorts, and he's seen your profile on there. So I'm very disappointed. Just tell her that. Just say I'm really disappointed. Not because of the amount of people that you've slept with, because you lied to me about it. Alright? Now, depending on her response, if she comes back with, like, listen, I just wanted to put that behind me, and I really like you, and I was scared you were going to be terrified, and you know, things like that, and then I would give this girl another chance. I know a lot of people in the comment section are saying get her in the sea, or they'll be listening to this wanting me to put her in the bin and put her in the sea. I don't think that's fair this time around. I think you give this girl a chance. I think she's lived a life that she wants to leave behind, from what you've been telling me, and you need to give her a chance. If she comes back and says, yeah, I might do it in the future, yeah, then kick her to the curb. She belongs to the streets. Yeah, if she says, oh yeah, well, I made my money. If she's unapologetic, as hey, it's just me, right? That's just what I did. I was empowered and all that sort of shit. Move on, leave, go, run for the fucking hills. If you get any bullshit like that, any bullshit of I was so empowered and I took hold of my own sexuality and no, you're a prostitute, is what you were. Right? There's no power in being a prostitute. I'm sorry. You are the bottom. You are the lampreys of sexual intercourse. You're the bottom feeders. That's what you're there for. You're fodder, is what you are, and that's not nice, right? That's not something that you should be celebrating as this virtuous thing. It's not. Okay? As somebody who has a daughter, I certainly don't want women like that being role models. Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. Right? The minute you get any of that bullshit, you get a whiff of self-righteousness about it, leave. Leave and don't look back. Right? But if you go to her and she seems like either traumatized or regretful and like, listen, it's part of my life I want to forget. I've met you, I like you, and I just want to move on. I've got a job. I've got a steady job. I just want to get on with my life. Then, dude, give this girl a chance. For fuck's sake, don't we all like deserve a bit of happiness? You don't know what made her go down that path. There could be some dark shit in her past that she's worked through eventually, and now she's finally worked through it, and now things are finally looking up. So don't take it away from her. If you like this girl and she seems completely like, you know, look, I just want to move on. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm here with you. I want to do this. Then, dude, give her a chance. Give her a chance. You know me, I'm the most cynical motherfucker in the world. You know this channel. You know how cynical I am. And even I'm saying give her a chance. Again, as I just said, the minute you get a whiff of self-righteousness, move on. Alright? But for now, I reckon you go back, you face the music, yeah, and you gauge what her response is to you knowing. Alright? You gauge that response. If you get the response of, you know, I don't want to do that anymore, I want to leave it in the past, I want to be with you, I've got a job now, I've turned my life around, dude, give that woman a chance. Slap her on the back and just take her to the bedroom and just sort her shit out, right? Work through it with her. Even if you've got to get her to therapy or whatever, work through it with her. That girl deserves it, right? But if you get a whiff of self-righteousness, a whiff of like, well, I just did what I needed to do, dude, kick her to the curb. Get out of there while you still can, alright? That is my advice. And again, a lot of people will say I'm being unfair with my numbers thing before, when I was like, yeah, you know, when I'm like, I judge men and women differently for sleeping around a lot. Well, I do, and that just is what it is. You can call it sexist if you want, but you know, if you can put it this way, if you can go out and get it whenever you want, and then you go out and get it whenever you want, that's somebody with really poor impulse control. Right? You have really poor impulse control. But if I'm a man and I never get it almost when I go out, and I've got to work and work and work and work and be at my best to actually get with somebody, if I've got to do that, right? And then I'm able to do that more often, that shows that I'm able to do that, right? I'm able to go out there and do it. Now, do not get me wrong. This flips around. By the way, if you want to stop listening now, you can do, because I'm finished with the Hobby Nightmares. But do not get me wrong. If you look like Henry Cavill or someone like that, and you can go out and get laid whenever you want by women, and then you do that, you're a male whore. That's what you are. You're just as bad. You are just as bad. Because you can go and get laid whenever you want, mate. You can literally go and get laid whenever you want. With great power comes great responsibility. Okay? So, women, right, and really hot men are in the same group. You're in the same group. With great power comes great responsibility, and if you shag everything under the sun, there are consequences to those actions. Right? You have really poor impulse control, and it's a really huge turn-off. The same reason why normal women don't want to go out with really handsome fuckboys is the same reason why men don't want to go out with women who've slept around a lot. It's exactly the same reason. Okay? So before you have a go at men for the, is it that lock and key argument again? Oh my god, that's so old. Examine it, please. Examine it. Right? It's the same. It's exactly the same. If you found a Henry Cavill, but he'd slept with 90 women that week, would you want to go out with him? No. Of course you wouldn't. You'd be like, no, fuck that guy, right? Fuck boy, I don't want to go out with him. I don't know what I might catch. I don't want to be another notch on his bedpost. Yeah, no shit. No shit. So when I go out and I have to work for it, I'm an average looking bloke. When I go out and I have to look good, smell good, act good, I have to work for it, and you're just giving it away, why should I respect you? You're just like that Henry Cavill guy. I don't want to catch anything. Right? That's exactly the same. Which is why I think, deceptively, men and women are in the same boat a lot of the time. We just don't realise it. We just don't realise it. You just got to pick your head up, look around, and you'll realise you're in the same boat together. Most of you, anyway. Alright? Anyway. Love you a long time. I will speak to you a bit later on. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and, well, have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.